Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Happy Sunday. I haven't done a live in quite a while, actually. So this is very different. I've been usually just doing the premiere thing where we record it and then I'm in the chat, which I, really enjoy just being in the chat and hanging out with everybody. So it's been a while since I've done this, especially the last few days. I've been thinking of it, but I have been a little bit under the weather. I've been having some tummy issues, including today. And so I actually recorded this yesterday, but I was just so out of it that I was trying to edit it and I was like, oh, never mind. So I was about to re-record it and I just thought, you know what? Why not just go ahead and do a live? Why re-record it and then have to edit all of that stuff? And it's just like, no. Why don't just hang out? And so it might be just a few of us hanging out because it's so impromptu that it was just like, maybe a few of my friends will join, maybe not. But I'm happy to see you guys here, all 34 of us hanging out. Hello, everyone. So yeah, please pray if you get a chance and you pray. Please pray for my tummy. I've been having a little bit of tummy issue the last week, and it's like, ugh, I hate it when I have tummy issues. as with everyone. So please pray for my tummy if you remember. No big deal. But hello, Fancy and Ladybird and Lydia, awesome moderator. Hello. So happy you're here. And Black Queen, our awesome moderator, is here. Hi, Black Queen. And Lakiva. And Nalu Thandu is here hanging out with us from South Africa. Little Mac is here. And who else is here? Let's see. Lottie is here. Hello, Lottie. How are you? And Dee and Antoinette. Hi. Eco Girl. I love how you spell this. Eco Girl. And so hopefully more of our friends will join. If not, that's fine. You can listen on the replay. That's fine as well. But hi, guys. Hope you have all been having a great week, great weekend. Oh, Eco Girl is saying try some gin. Oh, that is really wild you say that because I've always been saying ginger is the cure for everything. And would you believe I hadn't even thought of ginger tea? I'm like, wait a minute. How could I have forgotten ginger tea? Hello. Thank you for that reminder. Oh my goodness. I will definitely go and get me some ginger today. How could I have forgotten? And ginger is the cure-all for everything. So yeah, it's just been like really, really weird. I know when you have a tummy ache, you don't want to eat anything because you're just afraid of your tummy starts hurting. And so when I don't eat or drink anything, of course, then I get dehydrated, and then that's another. And oh my goodness, you all know what it's like to have a tummy troubles. So it's just been one thing after another. But I am gonna go get me some ginger tea. Oh, thank you for reminding me. How could I have forgotten that? But anyway, let's see. Marjorie says, what do you feel? Depends on what you feel. Diagnosis can be given. Oh, well, part of it is my fault, and which is why make sure you eat on time. I have a habit of when I start working on something, I forget to eat. And I take I could literally sometimes go 8, 10 hours without eating. And because I don't get hungry. If I don't see the food, I don't think about it. And if I get working on a project, I literally don't remember to eat. And so when I don't remember to eat until my stomach starts hurting, that becomes a problem. And then it takes quite a while to correct that behavior. And in the meantime, my stomach does a lot of horrible things to me. And so the whole thing started because it was my fault. It was and so I think I have to put myself on a clock where every 3 to 4 hours, I make sure I eat, whether I'm hungry or not. Some people just naturally get hungry. I'm not one of those people. I don't naturally just get, my body just gets, for some reason, if I'm focused on something, that's where all my attention is, and I don't get hungry. And so then it becomes a problem. So this whole thing started because of me. And so this is what I'm doing now. I'm on a clock, so I know it's okay. I have to eat whether I'm hungry or not. And so Yes. So consequences of that. So there you go. Anyways, enough about me and my issues. My goodness, our fave. I'm sure you guys have had lots of conversations about this with Baron. I'm sure Duchess of Success and all the others have been talking about this. But since it happened, I hadn't even gotten a chance to talk about it. Because again, I recorded this yesterday to have my say and celebrate with our fave, and even that didn't work out. So so um but I think this photo, I think, came from Lauren Sanchez. That's her there. Jeff Bezos, I think it's his fiance. I don't think they got married yet, or maybe I could be wrong. Don't spend my time paying attention to Jeff Bezos, but I think that's his fiance. If I'm not correct, if I'm, if I'm wrong, just let me know. Um, and of course, that's John Travolta. And I mean, what an amazing! I think this is a photo from her Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, that either. But I think this is just the most beautiful photo. I'm like, look at this, and I know a lot of you squatties get mad at me when I say this, but I think, I mean, look at John and Jeff's hair, or head, I should say. I'm like, they're looking really good. Just in case Harry in the future thinking of, would that be something for me? I think it would. So that's all I'm going to say. I know, Lydia, you're going to yell at me for talking about Harry's hair. Sorry, but I just can't help it. I just there in the photo, you know? But, as far as I know, on Friday they had a great time. From all the reports, one my thing was I really wanted to hear his speech, and so finally today I was able to hear at least more than, I think it was probably about a minute and a half of it. And actually I'll post it in our community page so you guys can, if you're able to access Twitter, it's there. You can just click on the link and you should be able to hear it. But it was so incredible. And the people who were there talked about it, how inspiring it was. And it was really cool. I mean, the picture on the left is the one that's, was the first one. That's the one I think I posted in our community page. It was the first one that we saw. And of course, I'm that guy in the back. I was like, yep, if that was me, I'd be probably doing exactly what that guy with his little head poking up there would be doing, staring. I was like, what is Harry over there doing and talking about? But it turns out this guy he is talking to is he's like a social, not social media, but one of those reality show people. And turns out apparently he's a minor royal from Germany or something. And he and I was just like, oh, because they were saying, like, he has a fake title and all. Who knew? And apparently he's also a reporter. Who knew? Never saw him, never heard of him before. And so, I mean, I especially love that photo on the right. Oh my goodness, look at Harry. Don't know who the lady is that's right next to him, but they sure cut her out of the photo because that's all that was on social media. And so I just thought it was just really wonderful. So Hello had a little bit about it. It says Prince Harry 39 made a solo appearance despite rumors his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, would be joining him, as he was inducted into the Living Legends of Aviation for his work as a British Army veteran, skipping the red carpet and sneaking in to the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California, via the back doors, which a lot of major celebrities do at these events. They bypass the red carpet. And again, I always say with these red carpets, you want to give people who who aren't normally in the spotlight, who might need some extra attention because they're working on a project of whatever. You want to give that up to them. That's a lot of times that's their big thing. And if you are like Harry and Meghan, unless it's so, I don't know, one of those charity, you won't see them on a red carpet. You hardly ever see them on a red carpet like this. So, but it was wonderful to see Harry, and he just looks so happy and so debonair, is that the word? And some people were saying that this is his wedding outfit. The jacket looks suede. Don't quote me. I'm horrible at fabric and fashion and stuff. So, and but I do remember his wedding, like at least the not the ceremony, but the after party thing that him and Meghan went to. I don't remember. But yeah, it does look like it. If it is, he looks amazing no matter what. But I mean, as the squad always say, he looks so tanned and moisturized and happy and just at peace and serene. And I'm just like, you go, Harry, and obviously we all wanted to see Meghan as well. And I know some in the British press are saying, or at least from PA, which is the Press Association from the UK, which is usually a credible news outlet, if you can call anything in the UK credible. It's the most credible you'll get in the UK. But there was a report coming out of them saying that Meghan stayed home because one of the kids was not well. But neither Harry nor their representative have said anything about this, so I am going to just not consider that anything. Feel if Harry or Meghan wanted to say something, their rep would have said something, and none of them have said a word. So even if it's from PA, I'm like, nope. I'm not going to believe anything unless it comes from the Sussexes. So if they were to somehow say it later, then I'll choose to believe it then. In the meantime, I will just ignore that one. But so just in case you haven't seen any of the ceremony at all, this is Harry on stage being given his medal. John Travolta putting it around his neck, and apparently John Travolta really was instrumental, or at least one of the people instrumental in really putting Harry's name forward. And then the past recipients were the ones who voted on the people that were going to get awards, including Harry, who is among 4 or 5 of them that got awards as well that night. So that was him and John, and then the last picture is Harry on stage doing. It's so funny with the mic right in front of his face in the last photo. You can't even tell it's Harry. It's just like, oh, it doesn't even look like him, but it's him. So it's very funny. Anyway, so here is Harry and John, and it's so funny. There's a part where John was also talking about his time with Princess Diana, obviously, and Harry. It's so funny. It came full circle with Harry and John Travolta. And it is wild. I'm like, John, you're looking good, because at this point, John could have been, because Harry was 1 year old when he danced with Harry's mom. So he is like, Harry, that was over 40 years ago. And it's amazing. And so but I love, no matter what it says in the British press, I love, this lady, Jet Girl Stephanie, she, on her Instagram, she's a pilot. So, she have pictures there with her plane and all of that stuff. And so she posted this, and I was just like, oh, this is really wonderful to see how much they appreciated the event. And she says, one of the best nights ever. Living Legends of Aviation Awards here in Los Angeles tonight with Prince Harry inducted into the Living Legends. He gave a very eloquent and heartfelt speech about his flying career, utterly inspiring. Very proud of him as a fellow Brit in this pantheon of American pilots, engineers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. It was a brilliant evening, and frankly, makes a mockery of the mean-spirited sniping in the British press. Events like this are part of the flourishing culture of aviation in this country. And I just appreciated that so much. And again, she is a fellow Brit. And for her to see, really, it's sad that, she is aware, or she knows that her country people are being just nasty and vicious towards Harry. But I really love, her talking about, them basically getting out of that mess and really lifting up the aviation community in the US. And again, it's sad that, people have to sort of leave the UK to come here and flourish in the way they want to. But I really appreciated her talking about just what a wonderful evening it's been. Wonderful event it was. And all the people who were there that have, whether posted or whatever, it just really they had such a great time. I was talking about just what a wonderful, wonderful time they all had. And obviously, those in the British press, being those in the British press, I saw someone posted a clipping of, goodness, there's one of those British tabloids talking about how the event was delisters and all of this nonsense. And it just, again, I don't think these people realize how awful it makes their country look. And it's just like, you know what? People are just, I'm like, people want to be around encouragement. They want to be around positivity. They want to be around other people who are there to lift up each other. They don't want to be around you. And then the same people would be screaming for Harry and Meghan to come back to that country. I'm like, for what? You're like cancer in this world. Nobody wants that in their life. No one wants to be around people who are just so negative and nasty. And so I don't understand why they haven't gotten this by now, but I guess I really just, and to, I mean, you're sitting there calling like Jeff Bezos, Morgan Freeman, I forgot what the producer, Academy Award winning directors and producers and all of that who were a part of the ceremony. You're referring to them as D-listers. I mean, and even what is that? I mean, it's so snobbish. And you think about it, it's like, you're not even on a list. Why are you trying to be condescending to some people you're calling so quote unquote D-listers? I don't understand how people even get away with this kind of thinking, but they do. But again, I'm just happy that the people who were part of it and who this was for and who really were there as a really encouraging community. I'm so happy that they had a great time, and they, Harry was embraced and loved and welcomed into this community. And again, this lady is she's a British person, and I'm glad that she saw the difference and just really just embraced Harry. And the guy who this one on the left, who he took the picture with Harry, he also, I think it was the Daily Mail that was trying to harangue him about the event. And he just, and I'll post the link so you guys can watch it. This guy just went probably like a 2-minute video praising Harry through the whole thing. And I think he knew what they are and he knew what they wanted. And he just really went off and just really was just how much Harry's loved and embraced, and people should be celebrating him. And I was like, you go, guy. You go. And so they were really all very excited about it. And a little bit more from Hello. It says, wearing a black velvet tuxedo paired with white, of course they have to, it's like, I don't understand why this is important, but it's important to them. Wearing a black velvet tuxedo paired with a white shirt, the father of two was put on the spot by host John Travolta in the actor's opening remarks, but Grease star asking the audience, what can you remember about your first flight? And there is a video of this. I'll post the link as well. The royal remarked, it's classified, to laughter from the room. Prince Mario Max Schomburg-Lippe, that's the gentleman who took the selfie with Harry, who appeared on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, shared a picture from inside the ballroom after taking a selfie with Harry, and he later spoke to Hello about the encounter. And that's the same one who, sort of went off with the Daily Mail. He says, I am very happy that he is the focus of tonight. He deserves it. He said, adding, he has been through a lot being so public, and it's a very personal moment of joy for him. What I like to do is congratulate him for the big award. And I think we all should. We have many, how many big moments in life do we all have? It is a very few, and this is a very big moment. And so kudos to, Prince Mario Max Schomburg-Lippe. And hey. Gregory Feith Gregory Feith was honored by the organization in 2016 after a lifetime in aviation safety, and he praised the the induction of Harry, for drawing young people to the industry. And that's what it's all about, getting young people involved. And Prince Harry and his name and accomplishments draw attention to an organization like this. And like I said, the whole thing with this is all because, the tables were like almost like $500-600, whatever it is. And all of it is going towards this organization. And I guess it's a charity that really the whole goal is to get kids and young people involved in aviation and to really pass on the legacy to them. So, which is why, again, I thought it was such a perfect thing for Harry, because again, Archie and Octonaut. So even though he didn't mention, at least not from what I heard, mention Archie in it, it's just wonderful. And so again, it's not just a bunch of rich people doing, just coming together and awarding each other. It was for a purpose. And apparently everyone who were there, all the attendees, went home with a toy or a model airplane and a model helicopter. So fantastic. Harry, I'm sure, took home 2 wonderful gifts for Archie and Lilibet. So hey, a night well done. So and I thought these were so cool. These were on the red carpet. This artist painted this photo of Harry, and I was just like, and then this other artist also put and it's so funny because I was looking for the actual photo of the one on the right, and I could not find it for the life of me. And so I just thought it was really, really awesome that they did that. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so this is the finished project. And I just thought these artists were fantastic. I was like, well, what do you know? And so the picture on the left, I found the photo on I Googled and desperately was like, I know there's this photo somewhere. And so I found it, but I could not find the one on the right. So I know I've seen it, or at least a version of it, and I just could not find it. I was like, Google, what's up? So I just thought this was really, really cool by these artists. So it's like Harry was really celebrated, and it was just really wonderful. And obviously, this is the photo of John Travolta and Princess Diana. And so Hello Magazine posted about it. And this was Harry when this was happening. I was just like, he was really, really a tiny little baby. And it was just like, oh. And says Prince Harry and John Travolta reminisced about Princess Diana's dance with the Hollywood star at the ceremony last night in Beverly Hills. And and this is actually, Harry did say this. He says, I was just 1 year old when you danced with my mom at the White House, and now look at us. And so Harry's thing was like, if we're not going to dance together, at least we can fly together. So there you go. They have that in common. So it's wonderful. Hopefully maybe John will one day talk about what it was like for them. I don't know if Harry would ever bring it up, but maybe John in some interview might bring up, because the reporters are going to ask him anyway. So anybody that is coming to any contact with the Sussexes, they are going to they're going to ask, if he's doing an interview, they're going to ask about that. So I look forward to whatever John Travolta says. And what's funny, there were these 2 ladies, and they were a little bit risque dressed, and so they posted this, and I only saw it today, and again, I had already pulled this in from last night, but they posted a photo, and on the photo, and I think it was on Instagram, one of their stories, it says, Prince Harry didn't want to take a photo with us, but this other actor did. And I was just like, Harry knows. He knows what would happen if he had taken a photo with these ladies. He knows the narrative that would be coming out of this, and from especially the British press. And Harry's like, no. And they didn't seem bitter or anything. They just said Harry said no to the photo. And so I am glad that Harry said no, because what the narrative would come out of that, because they were not scantily by some standards, but things body parts were showing a little bit there. And so Harry was just like, no, let's just save you and save me, save my family from any of this nonsense. So so I was happy. I was like, you go, Harry. And then we always talk about how the British press report on things and how they make stories up, and then you never know when they post photos of the Sussexes when exactly they got that, and then they just save it for a time, or they write a story ahead of time, and then they have their own narrative of what is going to happen before the event even happened. Case in point, this. And I guess somebody at the Mirror forgot to go proofreading things or at least double checking on what they wrote, because again, this was after they posted this, obviously after the event. They posted it on January 20th. The event was on the 19th, and no, the headline, Harry arrives without Meghan, right? But if you look at the above where the blue is, it says Prince Harry and Meghan were spotted at ceremony. I guess they forgot they had put that in the article the night before, and when they sent it out, somebody forgot to double check, and at the bottom of their blaring headline is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle look glamorous as they arrived at the 21st annual Living Legends of Aviation Award, where the Duke of Sussex is being honored. That's right. I mean, this is their article. They had already decided on what the narrative is going to be before the event even happened. And then you go down in the article, then they're talking about Prince Harry was reported flying solo. And you're like, well, which is it? Did he go solo, or was Meghan there? And then even going further, just in the highlighted part of this article, it says, but it seems he had a friend, Prince Mario Max Schomburg-Lippe. Again, this is a gentleman that was just there, the one I was just talking about, who was the minor royal in Germany or something, and he just took a photo with Harry, and it was talking about Harry, and then all of a sudden he is now a friend of Prince Harry. It's just like, so just because you take a photo of somebody and you're talking nice about them, you become a friend of the person. It's kind of akin to what they do with Omid Scobie. Omid refuses to, engage with the British press nonsense in, attacking the Sussexes. So he is forever the Sussexes' friend and mouthpiece. And so I think this article just lays out very clearly how the British press does things and why it's just such a mess. Because again, hello, they already decided on the narrative, and any kind of thing they come up with the next day is because or a lot, especially again there's this article that someone posted a clipping on it, and it was just like so nasty. And again, Harry and Meghan completely upended all the narrative and all the articles I'm sure many of them wrote. And because they didn't get the storyline they were looking for, Meghan and Harry being glamorous in Hollywood while poor Kate is in the hospital. I think by today they're angry. They're angry because, again, you didn't see Harry on the red carpet. You didn't see Meghan on the red carpet. And all the things this glamour thing that they were wanting to juxtapose with each other, and none of it panned off. And so now all you end up is with this mess of an article that is just like, yeah. So, but it's very, very funny to me. But in spite of the British press nonsense, our fave had a grand old time. And why ever Meghan wasn't there, we'll see her when we see her. But I'm happy she wasn't there. They cannot use her name into any nonsense with the, trying to compare her with Kate or anyone else. So yeah. Anyways, moving away from that for a bit, Prince Harry, it was so funny. I posted this in our community page, and someone decided that I am more focused on what's going on, I guess, in Shutter Island than something like that. It's like that unless Harry says something about it or their people say something about it, then it's not true or some craziness like that. Then it's just like, well, it's actually is true. But they were not happy that I posted it. And I was like, but it's the news. And so let me confirm that, yes, it is true that Harry has dropped his libel case. And then in the post, I said, good choice. And so some people weren't understanding why I said it was a good choice to that Harry decided to drop this case. So let's read a little bit so that we're clear on why it's a good choice that Harry decided that this one was not worth pursuing. Prince Harry drops libel case against the Daily Mail after damaging pretrial ruling. That's right. So there was a pretrial ruling in December that led to, at the time when it happened, I wasn't sure if he was going to pursue it or continue pursuing it or not. But for me, this is a good choice. Said Prince Harry has dropped his libel suit against the publisher of a British tabloid following a ruling that had damaged his case and in which the judge suggested he might lose the trial. So when the judge of the trial is telling you that it looks like you're going to lose it, that's a good thing to consider, dropping the case. And so it goes on to say, we're going to just leave the first paragraph and jump to the second. It says, the lawyer for the Duke of Sussex notified the High Court in London that he would not continue the suit against Associated Newspaper Limited, one of the several cases he had pending in his high-profile battle with the British press. No reason was given, but it came the day he was due to hand over documents in the case after a punishing ruling last month in which the judge ordered Harry to pay the publisher nearly £50,000 or $60,000, more than $60,000 in legal fees after he failed to achieve a victory without going to trial. The action will leave him on the hook to pay the publisher's legal fees, which the Daily Mail reported to be £250,000 or £316,000. A spokesman for the Duke said it was premature to speculate about the cost. That's right. The judge did not put a price tag on it as yet. So basically that $250,000 is the Daily Mail speculating. Who knows? It could be a lot less. But it goes back to the heart of the article is back in December when Harry was trying to get the judge, basically to make a quick ruling or to throw out the Daily Mail claim, because they were claiming that what the article was an opinion. The writer, I forgot what her name is, and that it was her opinion. And that he felt that they had a case to prove that the article was an opinion piece, and therefore she had every right to make her opinion. Now, if you read the article, and we talked about the article at the time, it was 2-3 years ago when this whole thing started, it wasn't done as an opinion. It didn't state that it was an opinion piece. It was a front page article claiming that Harry was lying, basically, and that he was trying to manipulate people into thinking that he wanted to pay. It wasn't written as an opinion piece. None of it stated that it was this reporter's opinion. She never stated that it was just her opinion. So when, if you read the article, it talks about like Harry's people were kind of shocked that the judge ruled that, yes, it was an opinion when it was never presented that way. And so when he ruled that they had a case and that Harry basically had no chance to win this case, and he's the judge telling them that, well, then they had no choice. They did have a choice. They could have pursued it and tried to win it. But in so doing, Harry, when they on Friday decided that they were not going to continue the case, he would have then, with every court and in every case, there is a period of discovery where they can literally ask for any kind of private information that you have. And as we saw what happened to Meghan, when Meghan sued the Daily Mail, they asked for all this private stuff from her text message, her email, her WhatsApp, all of it. And they have all of this information, and we know what the Daily Mail does with stuff like that. And so Harry had a choice to make. Do I continue with this case that the judge literally just told me I do not have a chance in hell to win this case? Or do I, do I continue and then have to hand over my private information and my private documents to this people who could do God knows what with? Or do I, say I have more important matters, i.e., the case against Revek, and then also the unlawful information gathering against the Daily Mail and all of that stuff? Do I, cut my losses with this case and just focus on the ones that that really are the important cases? This was like a side case against the Daily Mail. So he chose to cut his losses and it's like decide, like, you know what, this is not the most important thing here. Let me focus on the security, getting the security for my family, and on the hacking and illegal news gathering. So this is why, for me, I thought it was the best choice. Now, nobody wants to lose $60,000, on because you didn't win the judgment the other day, and nobody wants to be in this situation. But again, how I look at it is like, look, Harry and Meghan have won quite a bit of money from suing these, in some, including the Daily Mail. So who knows? Maybe they have a fund where they just use that money to sue them, and it's not exactly coming out of their funds. So who knows how they've done it? But also, to have this drop on the day he was going to receive his award, I thought was the best. If you're thinking on a PR level, I thought it was the best day to do it as well, because I was like, oh, what you do by doing it on that day is you give this news cycle a very short shelf life. Because after Harry, is out there in public and people see him and see his, hear his speech and being at the ward, the majority of people are not going to be focused on this. They're going to be focused on that. So I just thought it was like, hey, he just kind of played them at their own game. So I think on a PR level, if I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I looked at that, I was like, yeah, that's a great day to drop this, and then again, who wants to give the Daily Mail thing, your personal private stuff, and then may end up lose the case? That doesn't make any sense. So for the people who did not think that this was legitimate, that you didn't hear from Harry, yes, Harry's spokesperson, the Sussex's spokesperson, put out a statement about this. So just in case you didn't hear it, this is the statement that Harry's spokespeople sent to the press. It says, a spokesman for the Sussexes said the Duke was focusing instead on the safety of his family and his legal case against the Home Office over security arrangement for himself, his wife, and children when they are in the UK. It quotes the spokesman. It says, as is the nature with legal proceedings, years have lapsed since this complaint was first filed, the spokesperson said. In the time since, the main hearing relating to the Duke's judicial review has taken place, and we are awaiting the final decision as to whether Revek acted lawfully with regards to his security. Prince Harry's, focus remains there and on the safety of his family, rather than on these legal proceedings that give a continued platform to the Mail's false claim all these years ago. So this is Harry's spokesperson. Their focus is on the main claim with Revek, making sure his family gets security. And I just think this is a wise idea. At the time, hey, my personal view, I don't know, and I can understand why they were just so shocked that the judge will come up with, oh yeah, it was the reporter's opinion, when it's like it wasn't even she never wrote it as an opinion. She never said it was an opinion. It's not even an opinion in the paper. So I don't know how he came up with that, but it would have been a double loss had Harry gone through, because again, then he would have given up his private information. And I think for the Daily Mail, they don't care. £250,000 is not something that they care about. This is a $1 billion company. The money means nothing to them. What is valuable to them is Harry's private information. Getting that private stuff that Harry would not want out there is much more valuable to them, no matter how much Harry has to pay them. So it just, yeah. So for Harry, looking at that, it's like, no, let's cut our loss. Even if I have to take it out of my own money, depriving them of his private information is a much more valuable thing on both sides. So that's why I think it's a really, I think it was the best. So yeah. Um, um hmm. Anne Lewis says, Pedal, it's 750,000 must pay, but what he was awarded, the case was he won was 145,000. Well, I don't think the judge has not ruled yet, Anne, as to what the amount is. So we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. We only know what what he won in the last case against the Mirror, and the judge only ruled on the the illegal news gathering part of it. We don't know how much he got for basically pain and suffering. The judge didn't say. So he got two sets of money. They only gave the amount for one set of it, which was the illegal news gathering part. So, and also, you think of what Meghan has won, and this is not the first time Harry has won cases and settled cases with the Daily Mail and others. So we don't know over time how much, but yeah. And so the judge, as far as I know, has not ruled yet exactly how much he has to pay. But again, the money for either part is not the big issue. The money, I don't think the Daily Mail, I mean, they could do like a boast. Yeah, he has to pay us all this money. But these are the same people who was like, yeah, we only had to pay Meghan $1 when they didn't put the whole truth of how much they had to pay her. So yeah. So, but it's private information that is the value for them. They wanted that news stuff. They wanted that stuff. So yeah, and that for me is what Harry deprived them of. So I think for me, I mean, everybody thinks differently. Everybody thinks differently about this, but for me, I think it was the best choice to cut this off and focus on more important things. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, wait. I saw something here from Leslie. Leslie, our legal scholar. Leslie, where are you? Huh. I missed it. Where is it? Leslie. I probably will find it later. But anyways, moving on from this. So I hope this is clear. If you didn't know about it, and hope that's a little more clear. Yes. So, and then we talked about this the other day. The British press make me laugh sometimes because we talked about this the other day with the nonsense of how the British press were covering Kate and King Charles being, in the hospital, and Charles, I guess later on this week, is having a procedure done for his, prostate and enlarged prostate and all of that stuff. And again, look, it's a good thing, especially with him talking about it. Every man, especially, of a certain age, need to go and make sure they get checked out so that, if there's anything there, they catch it early. So I think it was wonderful that he did that, because apparently when he did that, different whether it's the NHS or whatever, they actually have been saying that the people calling in or inquiring about stuff, the level of it has risen so much because of him doing that. More men are like, okay, maybe I better check. So that is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. And so, but this whole thing has become more of a PR exercise, it seems. And it's like, it's like the Daily Mail and the others have been going to town with these ridiculous articles over and over and over about how the whole nation need to basically be on their face praying that Charles and Kate are okay. And then Richard K, the other groveling royalist, is like, oh my God, did they reread what they write? I mean, are they not embarrassed? And so Richard K, this was the headline the other day, and I did it on the past episode. It's like, the double blow of King Charles and the future Queen Kate's medical treatment leaves the nation reeling. It sends shivers down our spine and show how treadbare the royal resources are. And so apparently, maybe you squatties in the UK can let us know if you're shivering down the spine, and if and if you're reeling about anything happening with Kate and Charles. But it doesn't seem like anybody else is. And it certainly, Princess Eugenie does. Maybe the Daily Mail forgot to tell Princess Eugenie that she was supposed to be, reeling and shiver and having shivers down her spine while she falls on her face praying for Charles and Kate to be okay. Maybe they forgot to tell her. Because here's Princess Eugenie in France at a Paris fashion show. And I was just like, I'm telling you, it is just the nonsense of the British press with and I'm glad that they're getting so much pushback and flack from people who are just laughing and mocking them for this kind of stupidity. Because the majority of people that have responded to this stuff, they don't care, and they are mocking this kind of like, oh, the whole nation kind of thing. I was like, no, that's just you in the tabloids. No one else is having any of this feelings or any of this like, oh my gosh, let's fall on our face and pray that they're okay. Yeah, I mean, look, two people are in the hospital, one getting procedure, whatever, you wish them well, it's normal. I don't think anybody's vicious to be like, oh my gosh, I'm glad they're in a hospital having surgery. I mean, nobody, at least I don't think, I haven't come across anybody with that. That would be a little bit awful. But this whole idea that this whole nation needs to be on their face, oh my gosh, what shall we do? And somebody's buzzing my door. But what shall we do? What shall we do? And it's just like, no, nobody is thinking that. And certainly not Princess Eugenie. So it's just, and then this whole notion of like, oh my gosh, nobody can do Kate's work. What's the royal family going to do without Kate? Like, again, Kate Middleton was not doing anything. And whatever she was doing was not impacting in any way, shape, or form. Nobody is going to miss Kate or William or any one of them because they weren't doing anything anyway. And one of our squaddies chided me about, it should all, because what they're doing now is, it's all a distraction because they're starting the year that they want to distract away from Prince Andrew and his mess. And which is, I was a little hard on her when she said it, but, thinking back, she does actually have a point. So, yeah, she does have a point that, yeah, a lot of this stuff is a distraction from they don't want to have to deal and face up to what Prince Andrew has been doing and what's come out, the news, not a whole lot new. I mean, a lot of that stuff we knew before, but they don't want to have to come deal with what, or at least how they have handled this whole Prince Andrew stuff. So they started the year with, okay, I need sympathy, I need pity, I need whatever. And I'm not saying that their medical situation is not real, but it's the way how their press, again, all of this, and I use their tabloids because this is their media. This is the people that represents their position and what they want out in the world. And this is what they want out in the world. They want sympathy. They want pity. They want William, driving past the cameras to show that, oh, he's this devoted dad who is completely wiping his schedule to take care of his wife. And I was like, okay, excuse me, you have a staff of 60 people. Not only that, your kids are in school. So you have no excuse to be wiping your schedule. You don't do that much anyway, And a lot of the things that they do is, in the vicinity of where they are. And so the idea of wiping your schedule, because they're like, oh, we want to make sure our kids are your kids are at school. What are you doing in the hours when your kids are in school? You also have a staff. I'm not, being on somebody because they want to make sure that, they take care of their kids and all of that stuff. But the majority of people in the world don't have the kind of resources that these people have. And so this idea that and I was like, no, William is lazy. He doesn't want to work, and this is an excuse. This is an excuse. And even one of their reporters the other day, people were attacking him because they were reporting from outside whatever that hospital or clinic or whatever that Kate is. And one of the things he said is like, look, I would never report outside a place that I wasn't invited to report from. And so what he's saying is he was invited to report from there. They wanted the press there, reporting from outside her clinic, so he can drive past so people can see, oh, look at William going to visit or coming from visiting his wife and all of that stuff. And so again, this is all play. And again, I'm not saying their situation aren't serious. I'm not saying they're not having medical issue. I don't know. You know what I mean? These people lie sometimes. They make stuff up or whatever. I'm just gonna take their word for it that they're not lying. But the whole narrative around it has just become hospital PR. And again, they don't want people to be thinking about Prince Andrew. They don't want people to be thinking about the allegations of Prince Andrew and young girls. They don't want any of those things. And instead of, dealing with the Prince Andrew issue, instead of dealing with it correctly and being honest and open and really taking a stand, they rather distract with this stuff. And so, in a way, the squatty who was like, on one part, I was like, look, it is not our responsibility. I'm not going to spend my whole podcast talking about Prince Andrew. So I don't talk, not talk about this stuff, but just talk about Prince Andrew. No, I'm not going to do that. It's not my, no, not at all. On top of that, I've spoken about Prince Andrew's issues numerous times on this podcast. And actually, those individual podcasts, a couple of them even got defunded because, because I talked about it. And I guess YouTube didn't, it sort of, the advertisers did not want people talking about Prince Andrew. And then they defunded the episodes. So it's just like, okay. But it's just, so I guess in one way, yeah, it's right. They're trying to not have to deal with Prince Andrew and not have to, answer to those things. But I guess, look, if the people in the UK are not going to, protest, they're not going to do anything about it, no matter how much we talk about it, nothing is going to happen. You would talk about this until we're blue in the face. The royals are not going to do anything. They're not going to deal with it. And it's just like, you know what? Y'all in the UK have to deal with it. So there you go. Anyways, moving on. But again, Princess Eugenie is, or at least was, I don't know if she's still there. She did not get the memo that she needed to be, be reeling and having shivers down her spine and on her face praying. She totally, she didn't get it at all. They forgot her. And so I hope the Princess Eugenie had a wonderful time in Paris at Paris Fashion Week. So there you go. And there's this I don't know, it's a controversy, but there's a lot of big questions about this because this is Prince William leaving Kate's the hospital or clinic, whatever, the other day. I think it was Friday, Thursday that he was leaving. And it's so funny, when I saw the picture, I was just like, is that Christian Jones in the back there? And so some people think it's him, and some people think it's not him. But it's like, when I looked at it, I was like, it really looks like Christian Jones. And if as you can see there from people, Christian Jones quit in 2021 as their private secretary or PR person at the he quit his role there, and he was the person whose boyfriend, it was accused, Dan Wooten, was paying for information about the Sussexes. And Christian Jones is the one that, because Prince Harry said no, when Prince Harry learned about this palace staff or whose boyfriend was being paid for by Dan Wooten, Harry wanted to file a lawsuit, and he had a letter before action, and the palace was like, no, you need to take Christian Jones's name. And because Harry said no, they defunded Harry and took away security. And then we've talked about the whole article from Byline Times, who detailed this whole thing. And one of the things that came out of there was that Christian Jones, not only did they do this bogus investigation, which was no investigation at all, not only did they do that, and Prince William elevated him. He got 2 promotions out of it. And so it was just like, wait a minute. So the palace completely sided with him against Harry. And it was just like, it is one of those things that make you go, okay, that's interesting. Huh. And so, so there's this big thing. Some people in the squad think it's not him. I thought it was him when I first saw it. And so some people think it's him. And so it's just like, okay, very interesting. Which not to say that even though he left, you can't still be friends with them. That could be the case as well. But, apparently the first time William going to visit, and I guess if that's Christian, came along. If it's not, well, I guess I'm wrong. So there you go. Anyways, what else is happening? This. It's so funny when we think about, and I'll get to the chat in a second, but it's very funny to me when we think about stuff like this with why the British press is what it is. And it's, you think like, okay, things are going to change. You see Harry out there, him and this whole group of people suing and won a case and against the Mirror for phone hacking, for illegal news gathering, and all of this stuff. And you think, okay, maybe, just maybe, the British press, something is going to change. Something is going to happen where they're going to, people are going to realize like, okay, we need to change our press. And then you have this article in The Guardian. From bot reporters to the loss of a legendary editor, the Daily Mirror is hanging by a thread. It says more than 700 jobs lost. Let me just make this larger so I can read it. And also, I'm actually going to move my banner so that I can get to the bottom. There we go. More than 700 journalists lost their job at the publisher of the Daily Mirror last year. Staff members are down to a third in total since 2016, but it took the loss of just one to highlight the mess the company is in. The departure of Alison Phillips as the editor-in-chief at the end of this month is like the ravens leaving the tower, as one former executive puts it. Prophecies about the fall of the print kingdom are not new. The readers may struggle to care much about the fate of a tabloid found by a court just last month to have hacked Prince Harry's phone. Yet, the saga of Reach, which is the owner of the Mirror and other news outlets, the saga of Reach, the publisher of the Daily Mirror and Express, as well as some 120 local newspaper matters. For publishing local news where cuts have been savage, as well as the only national newspaper to have consistently backed the Labour Party since the end of the First World War, Reach, historic titles are particularly important. That's right. Reach's historical titles are particularly important in an election year. Launched in 1903, when most titles were written by and for the narrow elite, the Mirror, left-of-center politics, and working-class support caused historian A.G.P. Taylor to say that the English people at last found their voice. Again, she is writing about the Mirror. The Mirror news titles, and notice what she put there, says the Reach titles of the Mirror and the Express. Now, any squatties, if I tell them the Mirror and the Express, one of the things that they would not be thinking is oh, how important these titles are to the culture and oh, how important they are to elections. These papers, these news outlets we talk a lot about Russell Myers, one of the most lying royal reporters who would sit there and lie with a smile on his face. And the same paper where Piers Morgan was there, 1994 to 20, whatever, when he I guess was fired or whatever, and literally just lost a case to Prince Harry for phone hacking, illegal news gathering. I mean, there are tons of people in this case against the Mirror, and here is the Guardian talking about, oh, how important these same titles, the same Express, especially the same Express who would write, 30 to 50 articles attacking the Sussexes on a daily basis, the same Mirror who write lie after lie after lie, and again, literally just lie, and they even reference the case here. There are hundreds of claimants. They've already had to pay off hundreds of millions of dollars for hacking, phone hacking, illegal news gathering, damaging people's lives all over the place. The same one, as you can see on the right, that, again, Harry just won a big payout for. We were just talking about a minute ago. And here is the Guardian talking and trying to convince people that the same Mirror, how important it is. And basically, we cannot let this paper die. And I think therein lies the problem with the British. This shouldn't even be an issue as to whether a tabloid dies or not. They should all die. The fact that, this supposed reputable paper is sitting there trying to convince people that, oh, no, 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 I know that they are a tabloid. Yeah, 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 I know they destroy people's life. But an election is coming up. We need them in an election. My question is, why is the tabloid mainstream in your country? That's the big question. Why is a tabloid whose whole thing is to lie to people? That is why the royal family have them as their spokespeople in their rota, whether it's the Daily Mail or the Express or the Sun or all of these papers. They're all part of the rota for a reason, to basically lie to people. And here's the Guardian sitting here literally telling you they're hacking people's phones and getting information via illegal means, trying to convince people that, oh, no, 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 but we have to save them because we need them for election. Why? So they can continue lying to people? So for my thing is, if you think, and if any of us had any notion that that this is going to change, it's not. Because those papers that are supposed to be credible news outlets, they all want this. This is what they want. That's why when you see stuff like Harry's big win, when he won the case in December, very few of them had this on the front page. Actually, it was only actually the Mirror, hardly enough, was the one that had it on the front page. Every one of them pretty much ignored it. This so-called credible news outlets. And it's just like, this is never going to change. It is never, ever going to change. And that is why, they just did this, again, they do this sort of studies all the time, I guess, for the major outlets around the world and news outlets around the world. And when you look at this list of all the news outlets, like the major ones, all of these countries, that is why the UK is at the bottom. The very bottom of, trust in media, where people can't trust the media. Because it's like, you see stuff like that, it's like, how can you trust? I can't even trust stuff now from the Guardian, because I'm like, well, this is what you're advocating for, and not that the US is any better. If you see, the US are just 5 above the UK. They are no better. And so it's really, really, to me, it's sickening. It is really and truly sickening. And it's just like, wow, this is not going to change. And if you think that it's going to change because if the Labour Party get to be head or leading the UK, no, it's not going to change. Keir Starmer is not going to change a thing. So it is just really, really sad to see. It's really sickening to see. And it's just like, ew. So anyways, I'm just going to stay in the chat for a little bit while my tummy holds up. Thank God it's holding up a bit. Let's see. Rhonda says, heck, the US is not doing much better. That's disheartening. No, it's not. Because you see, especially with the coverage that's been happening, I've been talking a lot about what's going on in Palestine, and really it's been so revealing how in the US and even I am shocked, and I don't often get shocked at the level of just the propaganda that's come out of the US press, and how so much of it is parroting government propaganda. I knew it was there, but I think this just really opened my eyes as to see how much of what they say is not the truth. And a lot of it is, and it's just kind of like, and again, for the first time, I've, really pay attention every single day as to what's going on, and to see what's going on the ground is so opposite to what's being reported. And what they're reporting is literally what's coming out of the government, which a lot of it is a lie. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And so even I was shocked, and it's just like, wow. So that's why, I'm not surprised that the US, I mean, honestly, they probably should be right above the UK, to be honest. Because, I mean, right now, I can't even call it journalism. I honestly can't. So, and especially when you say, because I talk a lot here about just the journalists in Palestine and what the level of journalism there. It is just shocking to see the difference. It's just like, wow, I don't know what we do here, but it ain't journalism. That's for sure. Kuklo says, we will not forget the Prince Andrew issue. He must answer for all the things and not hide. Well, that would be great in a perfect world, but it doesn't seem the UK has any appetite to do anything about it. It doesn't seem the royal family have any appetite to do anything about it. They would rather just distract, as they are doing now. They rather just distract people and hope forget about it, which a lot of Brits have done. They don't want to, deal with it. They don't want to do anything about it, and unless you are married to a Black woman and move to the US and call them out for their racism and call them out for their abuse, they're not going to do a thing, unfortunately. So yeah, in a perfect world, Andrew would get what's coming to him, but I don't think unfortunately this is not a perfect world. So they will continue to do nothing. So yeah. Let's see. Arsman says, but she's talking to Black Queen. Tinfoil theory. The girl saw her 2024 schedule full of speaking engagements and went for a fainting couch. She did not expect to work. Yeah, look, I wouldn't put it past her. I said, don't expect Kate until 2025. I'm not kidding. I would be shocked if we see her in 2024. She is not coming. She does not. Neither her or William wants to work. I mean, this is the perfect excuse for William to do what William has been doing, which is nothing. So I don't know what their whole idea of, what are they going to do without Harry? What with William and Kate? I was like, what they've always done. Nothing, because they don't really do or have any effect on anything. So I mean, do you think rugby is going to continue without Kate and William? Do they need Kate and William to continue what they're doing? No. Do you think the military need a visit from Kate and William to continue what they're doing? No. Do you think those charities where people are actually doing work are stop going to doing whatever it is they're doing because Kate and William didn't visit? No. So no, they don't have any effect or impact on anything. So, and even the busy work she does, or with, the early years stuff, is like they're doing stuff that's already there. None of the things that they have come up with or said is new. The research is already there. The thing that would have been new is if she would have advocated for money, which she can. And I always reject anyone telling me that, Kate can't, because it's political, they can't advocate. Nonsense. We've talked about this numerous times, including the last episode with the Queen lobbying Parliament and getting them to where, she was able to keep her money away from the public eye. They changed up laws to make sure that she's able to hide her money from people. So don't tell me that the royal family can't advocate and can't lobby Parliament for money for little children. That is nonsense. Now, if she was doing stuff like that, then yes, I'm like, she's in a unique position to be able to accomplish those things. But since she has not done any of those things, nothing she does with early years matters to anybody, because it's already been done. The people who are in those areas, they have said clearly what they need is money, because the government is shutting down those things. And that's the thing she has not done. And so all of this busy work with studies and all of that nonsense is nonsense busy work. Nobody needs it. So I think the country would run fine without them. Let's see. What else? Arsman says, you take your friend to your wife's bedside. Strange. Again, if that's Christian Jones, maybe they're all friends. Who knows? It's just a little bit like, interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. What else? I'm just scrolling up. Lady Bird says someone better check the mental asylums. Not sure specifically what you're referring to, but could there be mental health issues there? I wouldn't doubt it. With the royal family, look, so many things. Yes. Anne says, she's talking to Veronica, says abdominal surgery can be anything but type. So why mention it could be a hysterectomy? They said it's not cancerous. PR are useless. One of the things with this, I've seen videos where people talk about, say, for example, bowel surgery, when you have something like bowel surgery and stuff, that it does take time and that's when you actually will be able to stay in a hospital for more than the few days before they kick you out, because apparently of infections and stuff like that. And they want to make sure that whatever the surgery is, especially if they have to cut to some certain, it's just just thinking about it, it's just like sounds like ooh. So that would be, one of the things that couldn't be the reasons why she had to stay. But again, I don't want to, again, sit there and speculate as to whatever her surgery is. But yeah, it just, look, have your surgery, whatever, fine. But I think it's the PR that's going around, and that they have allowed their ridiculous press to put out there, that is turning people off. Because it's like, look, anybody, going through this, fine, look, I wish you speedy health. But it's that nonsense PR that they have their goons in the tabloids putting out there that is a little bit ridiculous. And it just make them, again, look really, really stupid. So, let's see. Little Max says, I think it's all a reflection of Murdoch. He is slowly taking over the USA. He now owns the Wall Street Journal, TMZ, Page 6, New York Post. Yeah, he owns all. He's actually owned them for quite a while. And also you can add Fox in there. And look, we've talked about this before. I don't understand why they allow Rupert Murdoch to own all this stuff and all this press in the US. I don't understand it at all. But I have, my only thinking is, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, is they all are benefiting from this stuff. They're all getting some benefit, because I'm telling you, if the Democrats, who are like, right now we have a quote unquote Democratic government, at least in the president is that, it's the Democrat, and the Democrat leading Senate. Look, if they weren't benefiting from these outlets, and weren't benefiting from what Rupert Murdoch is doing, they would have taken him out a long time ago. So the fact that none of them are doing anything about this, even after all that mess with Fox, that they are all benefit in some way, shape, or form. They are making money off of this. And so, yes, they are very two-faced. They will say one thing in public, but behind the scenes, they're all benefiting in some way from Rupert Murdoch. So that's why he stays. The same thing with the UK and with Australia. So yeah, there's a reason why New Zealand has said no to any Murdoch stuff, because they know they don't want to have any of this happening in their country. It's not perfect, but they definitely don't want Rupert Murdoch there. So yeah. Arrington W said, oh, Petal, thank you for addressing the gaslighting in the UK and US media. It is painful to know, but we must face it as good citizens responsible for the future of our country. The mission continues. Yeah, I mean, we have to call it out. We have to, especially now, I don't think we have an excuse. We have social media. No matter how small your audience is, we can make a change. I mean, one of the reasons now more and more you see news outlets slowly, very, very slowly starting to, put out the truth, some of the truth of what's happening in Palestine, is because people on social media refuse to accept their nonsense. And we're calling them out constantly for the lies and the propaganda that they were doing. The reason why, there's a lot less people attacking people for speaking the truth about what's going on in Palestine, is because we refuse to accept that just because I'm calling out the truth and calling out your abuse and calling out the murders that you've been committed in Palestine, that's not anti-Semitic. And the reason why that narrative is going down is because people refuse to allow that, oh, if you call out my crimes, therefore you're anti-Semitic. That's going down because people refuse to accept it, and even the US government they literally put out this law, I guess, of, I don't even remember all the thing, calling anti-Semitic if you say from the river to the sea, which is such nonsense, because again, even 3 days ago, he even said it in a speech on camera. And because people started calling them out on it, they deleted the video. And it was just like, again, we have to stand up. And if we don't stand up, they're going to get away with stuff. And so there you go. A few more before we end. Sorry. Alicia says, hi, Alicia Cato. Alicia says, what about Beatrice and the charity based on slavery and sex trafficking? That's Eugenie. I mean, that is just the oddest thing. I'm like, Eugenie has never addressed what her dad, and maybe this is her way of addressing it, but she has never addressed what, at least verbally. She never verbally or publicly addressed it, but she does have this anti-slavery initiative that she's doing about modern day slavery. And they even had I even saw like a bit of an interview she was doing about that, a week or so ago. And it's the weirdest thing. I'm like, well, you kind of have to address what's happening at home. And she's never has, but she has been pushing forward with this thing. And I was like, okay, well, it's just odd. It is just really odd. And then, of course, we have the Camilla with the, domestic violence. And you're like, but and it's just like, yeah. Unbelievable. Anyways, let's see. Before I forget, guys, I don't know if you guys, if everybody know, but Anne, our fellow squatty, who has a Sussex Positive podcast, I know a lot of us here follow her and listen to her podcast and are on her podcast all the time. Somehow, I don't know exactly what happened. Her account got demonetized, her whole account. And so I think she is fighting it. So I think it takes like about 14 days or whatever to get it sorted out. I don't know exactly what happened there. And because YouTube does crazy stuff sometimes, like I said, a couple of my episodes, we talk about Prince Andrew, a couple of them were demonetized. I was like, look, I understand some advisors don't want to have their product anywhere near Prince Andrew. And look, if I had a product, I wouldn't want it either. So I even understand. I didn't even bother fighting it because I understood. And so I was just like, look, yeah, nobody wants their products and the stuff that they're, you feel personally protective of your brand, and you don't want it advertised on something talking about Prince Andrew, which I totally get. And so a couple of my episodes were talking about Andrew got demonetized. This one might too, because I'm talking about him. But her whole entire platform is demonetized now. So she created another channel, and so hopefully shortly she'll be able to get that monetized and do, be able to do what she's done. But I think she's still going to be putting out podcast episodes no matter what. But definitely, I'm going to put the link of all of it in our community page. So if you want to go ahead and follow her, if you were before, if you haven't, definitely, she's amazing. She is British, awesome. I love her, and she is. I always think of her as my world traveler. She's always around, traveling around the world, and she does her podcast from wherever she is in the world. She's amazing. So look for it. I'm going to put the link in our community page. I meant to do it yesterday, but I was having too much tummy issues, and so I kind of so I'm going to put it there. So definitely go ahead and give Anne a follow. So what else? And hopefully they're able to sort that out, and it doesn't take 14 days, and that they're able to sort out whatever the issue is with that. So yeah. Let's see. A couple more before we end. Wait, you're saying no sound? I don't have a sound. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are hearing me. Give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me. Oh no. I've been talking to myself this whole time. I hope not. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you've been hearing me, or if I need to re-record this or something. Oh my goodness. So anyways, that's weird. There's no sound. Perlina said the Duchess of Sussex is using Duchess of Success is using the same podcast. Oh, she's put She has put out a new podcast. It's like the Duchess Read or something like. Oh wait, Lydia put it. There we go. Thank you, Lydia. Lydia put it up. She's like, it's the Duchess YouTube's at Duchess of Reads. So I'll put the link. So maybe she's gonna be using both. I don't know, but that I know she had sent me the new link to it. So definitely I'll put it there, and definitely go, and if you'd like, go and subscribe to her channel. I will be, so that we can make sure that we continue getting our content from her. She's awesome. And her and Baron, two of my favorite people. And so yeah. And yeah. Okay, you guys are hearing me. Thank you very much. I got a little nervous there. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been talking to myself this whole time. So anyway, so maybe just check your volume, probably do a reboot or something, and to get it. And if not, I'm gonna be ending shortly, so just under replay, you should have it. So yeah. And Skutler says, Annalise, why did they demonetize? This is so heartbreaking. I again, as I was saying, you're not talking to me, but I don't know. But again, it's, if you're a content creator, it takes so much to put these, even though they seem like really simple, it takes so much effort to get the information, to research it, and put it to sort of make sense. And then doing the platform and all, it just takes a lot of work. So it just, anybody who's does content creating know how much, and especially if you're recording and then having to edit and all of that, it eats up your time. It's incredibly, oh my goodness, it's incredibly time consuming. So anytime I hear something like this happen, is like, oh my gosh, because I know how hard it is and how much of the time it takes to do this stuff. So definitely, hopefully, Anne gets this all sorted out long before 14 days. So yeah. But anyways, guys, I think that's it. I'm just gonna go back to bed. Spend the rest of my day in bed. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Nash, thank you so much, Nash. 15 months. Aw, thank you so much. She says, I've been listening in the background doing some housework. Happy blessed Sunday to you all. And same to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Black Queen says, Pedal, she was advised not to create a new podcast. It will cause extra issues with YouTube. We can subscribe, but she won't do any content there. She has to wait until April to appeal. Oh my goodness. Wow. April? Wow, that's wild. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeesh. That's a lot. So hopefully it's shorter. I mean, we're only in January. That's crazy. Wow. So let's see. Yes, Anna is saying she has had that channel for 2 years, and it's a lot of work and a lot of videos. She's put out a lot more videos than I've put out, and even with my limited amount, I'd be devastated because, again, it takes a lot of work to put this stuff together. And so, yeah. Nash, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a 2 Cents Crew member, for supporting the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you. And let's see. Anything else before I chat? Let's see anything else guys are saying. Okay, so we can still hear her on her channel. Yeah, look, any of this stuff happen, she's gonna be doing her stuff. I mean, it's, again, it's great that we can, when you, after a certain while, you get monetized and all that stuff, but that's not the reason any of us do this stuff. I mean, one, we're just advocates, and I don't want to speak for anyone. I guess I should just be speaking for myself. I'm an advocate. And when I see something is wrong, we speak up. And when, nobody pays me to talk about Palestine, I talk about Palestine I could talk about Palestine all day on Twitter or whatever. I don't get paid for any of this stuff, but it's like all of us, you see something is wrong, you speak up. It's the reason why Tina and Michelle started their podcast, because they saw something was wrong and the Sussexes were being abused. And they're like, look, we got to do something. and so it benefits and it helps when you get monetized and stuff, so that way you can actually, instead of having to use your own money to fund this, you can have some money where you're like, okay, I can pay for all the platforms and stuff that I use, and the apps that I need to create stuff. And so but again, if you didn't have it, we still do it, because again, it's the right thing to do. So yeah, but it takes a lot. And so when stuff like this happens, you're like, wait, it's heartbreaking to hear. So, but anyways, guys, I think that's it. I think that is it. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get this here. Thank you to our talk about oh, actually there's one more thing. I forgot about this. Derek Kobana, he is one of the Invictus Nigeria team members. He actually congratulated Harry, and he says, congrats, Prince Harry, living legend of aviation, for work as a British Army veteran and pilot. 3 boza from the Invictus Games NG. And obviously remember those pictures from Invictus Games. And so he was congratulating Prince Harry. I forgot I even had this on this thing. Yeah. So thank you, Derek. And he's very integral part of getting the Nigerian team to the Invictus Games. So kudos. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me. I appreciate it. Thank you to our awesome moderators. I didn't see Church Nelly today, but thank you anyway, Church Nelly. And Lydia, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen, you are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wait a minute. I didn't see Karen M either. Did I miss you? I may have missed Karen M. I don't recall seeing her, but thank you anyway. I love you guys. Thank you to our awesome 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis and help me pay for all my platform thingies. I appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of that. So I appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic Sunday. And thank you for the ginger. I shall go off and have my ginger tea, and I will chat with you later. Bye.